Hey everybody, Dorothy Kuhn here, the Inspiring Leaders Mentor, giving you a big Indivisible shout out this afternoon. It is a beautiful day here in North Texas, and in our Indivisible group, we have had our first meeting. We have elected a steering committee. That's an optional thing to do to kind of get us going and to do some initial actions. And that steering committee just asked everybody within our big Facebook group, over 1,200 people, to be able to just tell us what they're really interested in. And so over 300 folks have done that, which is absolutely fantastic. We're so grateful for those folks who are willing to step up and step out. So here's what we're doing next with this. People described what it is that they were really interested in, and we had, over half a dozen action groups that came out of that. So Indivisible is all about principle and action, and we want to make sure that we are on action and in action every week. And that's what these little snippets of training are really all about. So today's live stream is, and I'd love to have your comments below, any questions, whatever it is that is on your mind for how to make a difference and turn our country back around to be a land for freedom and opportunity for all people, not just a few. Thank you very much. So this started off, as many of you well know, with the Indivisible Guide, those wonderful congressional staffers who had seen back in '08 and the years after what the Tea Party had done that was very effective. And it was effective because members of Congress care deeply about the opinions that their constituents have of them. So if you're reaching out to people who are not your representatives, they're much less likely, if at all, to care what your opinion is. But if you're one of their constituents, if you can vote them in or out of office, they care a lot. And that is where the magic is. So this is a local strategy for your member of Congress, your member in the House of Representatives. Got to make a meeting notice go away. Facebook Live is on the phone. And your two senators. So everyone's got 3 members of Congress to really care about and to focus on. It's nice to have a small number because too much can feel overwhelming. So kudos to you for taking action on the small number of things that really count. We don't, if this were a football game, then we don't have the ball right now. The other side has the ball. They can drive it down the field from a defensive position. The thing that we can do is to slow their progress and hopefully stop them. That is what defensive action is all about. So in doing that, you want to target your representative to the House of Representatives. Here in North Texas, in Denton County, for most of us, that is Michael Burgess. He is now heading up the revamp, supposedly, of the ACA. And then our 2 Texas senators here, Senators Cruz and Cornyn. So you'll know who these are in your state, in your district. In Texas, we also have a few folks in our legislature, affectionately known as the Ledge, that are doing the same kinds of things at the state level that Republicans are doing at the national level. So we'll care about that too. That may or may not apply in your state. So this is a defensive action, and it's purely focused on stopping the Trump agenda, stopping that radical Republican agenda that's built on authoritarianism, that's built, corruption is just built into it, because in that moral model, the most wealthy people are the most moral. From outside that moral model, we can see the logical fallacy of that, But that doesn't mean that people within it see that fallacy. In fact, they don't. So they're doing the best they can. It's just not what's good for the country. So we are doing our part. So the point of Indivisible is to make it easy for you to dedicate yourself to weekly action against the current legislative priority, whatever that priority is. So find out what is going to be coming up as a vote in the next day or 3 or 5. Those are things that you want to take action on. You can also complain and be outraged and horrified at the vote that your member of Congress has just taken if they did not vote your way. So they are your representatives. You have every right to let them know how pleased or how horrified you are, and do that with a specific ask. More about that in a minute. Now, there are a lot of folks who are asking, as I have been with several of our breakout groups, for example, just last night with healthcare, over the weekend with the Education Committee. Education is a big care about here in the state of Texas. And their civil liberties had a breakout. I'm sorry I didn't make that one, but just a whole bunch of environmental on Saturday. It has been a blizzard of activity here in Denton County. And as I've met with those, each of those groups, they're really concerned about what are the things that we really care about. Figure that out. It'll take that conversation to get to know one another, get to know what you can count on for one another. Getting to know people is just one of the joys of being in the Indivisible movement. And when you do that, then turn to what is the Republican legislative agenda. They're setting that, and we want to make sure and slow that down. So the point of all this is to make your member of Congress, your representative, your 2 senators, as uncomfortable as possible. You know, when we don't show up at their offices, they feel completely confident about the action that they are taking, about the votes that they are taking, that they are right, and that they are representing the people of their state and their district. But when we show up and let them know that we are not at all pleased, that we are outraged, that we are horrified, that we are disappointed, that we feel betrayed by the actions, the votes that they're taking, then those are things that rattle their cage. And rattling their cage is what we are all about. We may not be able to stop them, but putting the demons of doubt in their head is powerful. So show up often and do it. We're going to talk about one of the 4 strategies, or one of the 4 tactics of showing up and letting them know and rattling their cage in a way that is friendly and determined. So when you show up, your point is to let them know what you're displeased about and give them one ask. One ask. If you ask for 2 things, you will get nothing. Ask for 1 thing. So when you show up, whether, for this example today, this strategy is going to be showing up, and I keep saying strategy. This is really a tactic to show up at your senator or representative's office. That's typically through the week. They're open from 9 to 5. Your member of Congress does not have to be in the office for you to be effective. You can go there anytime and talk to the staffers who are there. Be friendly and polite and determined with them. Deliver with them a piece of paper that says what you're horrified about and says what you want them to do. Make it easy for those staffers who are typically underpaid people doing the best they can. They really appreciate it when you make it a little easier for them to carry the water for you. When you show up, be as high status as you can. Wear your best clothes. I'm not telling you anything you don't already know. Wear your best clothes. And when you're telling them what it is that you're horrified about, don't use their language. Use progressive language. You know, framing our needs and our wants and our aspirations in a way that uses progressive language. And we'll talk about this on a separate video, so more later. We talked about it on the last one. I'll include that in the comments below, so you've got that as well. But make sure to avoid using their words. So don't call it Obamacare, call it the ACA, because that is how the majority of their voting for them constituents see it in a positive light. There are many people on the right who think that Obamacare is awful and the ACA is great. They don't realize it's the same thing. So call it the ACA. Hey there, how are you doing? Thanks and welcome. So be high status, wear your best clothes, be on your best manners. Please and thank you. It's great to see you. Thank you for letting us in, and we are having a wonderful time being here. Just act as though you're having a great time and a lot of fun. Use your progressive value words and share, if you can, a personal story about this particular topic. So, for example, if it's the ACA, if it's healthcare, make sure to share a story about one person with two eyes and one nose and two ears and one mouth who was really helped by the ACA. A person in your family, maybe it's you, maybe it's someone in your social circle that you can tell an authentic story about. And when you're making the ask, make sure and ask them for something specific, like keep the ACA as it is. Never repeal it. Keep it as it is, and feel free to improve it. This is how you can improve it. And if you're in the healthcare breakout group or action group in your local Indivisible chapter, then make sure that you know what's one thing. We have some doctors in ours and some nurses in ours, and they have very specific ways in which they would love to see the ACA be better, and they definitely want to keep it. So in the Indivisible Guide, an in-office visit, such as we're talking about right now, is on page 21 and 22. So that's just two brief pages. All the details are there, so take a moment. If you haven't already downloaded the Indivisible Guide, go to indivisibleguide.com and download it, and just scroll over to page 21 and 22. It's only like a 25-page document, so it's really brief, concise, and on point, which I love. And as we mentioned before, your congressional offices are open consistently Monday through Friday, excepting holidays, of course, from 9 to 5. Sometimes your members of Congress, your senators and representatives, are in on the weekends. You can show up anytime and have one outrage and one ask. One outrage, one ask. And make sure and video it. Just, a live stream like we're doing now, or just a straight video that you can upload later. Whichever works best for you. You'll probably be able to definitely video as you're walking up to the member of Congress's office, say what it is that you intend to do, show all the people who are there and going to make an outrage and a request before the staffers or your member of Congress if you're lucky, and then afterwards do a second video. If you go into their office, you're unlikely to be able to video there, but if you're out in the foyer, you might be able to. So keep it going as long as you can. Video as much as possible. Have your specific ask, such as vote against whatever the upcoming legislative vote is on in the House or the Senate, and tell them what you're really horrified about, what your big concerns are. And if you've got a personal story, tell that too. And then leave them with that brief one-page write-up of your issue with your ask clearly stated, with that personal story. clearly stated. And of course, we're being polite and persistent, determined, and friendly, because they're underpaid and overworked, and they'll really carry water for you when you're polite and friendly and determined. So advertise what you're doing in advance. Before you go, you can send out another message to your group, share it all around your social media. Hey, we're going, and make sure and share this. So get it out as far and wide as you can. This is absolutely incredible, and it's the kind of thing that rattles the confidence of your member of Congress. So you definitely want to rattle their confidence, because up until now, we've kind of given them a bye and let them do whatever the fire they want. And goodness gracious, when there is no need to set the institutions of our country on fire. The craziness that's going on is just, oh my. My granny would roll over in her grave. So this is Dorothy Kuhn, the Inspiring Leaders Mentor. I'll put a couple links below in the comments. I'd love your comments. And of course, share this out. Other people deserve to know. There are people who don't know about Indivisible yet. They deserve to know. So make sure and share it, and let me know your comments, your questions. I'll look for those and happily share and answer anything that I can. So bye for now, and we'll see you tomorrow. Bye.